Have you ever had the feeling that somebody may be watching you in the dark? And that someone is none other than the Eye of Cthulhu, a piece of Cthulhu that wanders in the night, seeking revenge for its host. Greetings everyone, my name is Mischievous, and today we will be discussing the boss, the Eye of Cthulhu. Like the previous bosses, the Eye of Cthulhu can spawn randomly or be summoned with the item, the suspicious looking eye. Unlike the previous boss, this boss has two different phases. During its first phase, it is less aggressive and is more likely to stay back, whereas the second phase of the boss, which is changed during half of its health is taken away, will start to become more aggressive and starts charging after the player, and becomes more and more aggressive after that. Depending on your world's difficulty, the boss will have different stats of both health, damage, and defense. In classic mode, it has a health pool of 2800 with 12 defense and can do 15 damage to the player, and it is immune to confusion. During the second phase of the boss fight, which is half of its health gone, it will do an increase of 23 damage to the player and will have a reduced defense to 0 and will still be immune to confusion. I do want to also mention that this boss needs to be fought on the surface or in space at nighttime. If the player at all goes into the cave, it will then flee and the boss fight will be over. In expert mode, this boss will have 3,640 health and will do 30 damage to the player. During the second phase in expert mode, the boss will then go and do 36 damage to the player and will do an increase of 40 damage once health is below 145. And finally, in master mode, this boss's health pool is 4,641 and doing 45 damage to the player. Once the boss reaches its second phase, it will do 54 damage to a player and will do an increase of 60 damage to the player once health pool reaches 185 health. The loot pool of this boss is different depending on the difficulty of your world as shown. Classic world drops on the left, expert in the middle, and master mode drops on the right. Note that there are some exclusive drops that are not in the previous modes. So let's talk about the tactics of taking down this boss. There are two general ways to do so. One being a skyway, which is built along the sky to deal with the boss easier without having to worry about the terrain. Another way is by using a boss arena to maneuver around the boss and also having different platforms and buffs to help support the player to defeat the boss. Both ways are equally as good, but one will be better than the other depending on your playstyle. To defeat this boss, I would recommend gold armor or better, and for sword users, Star Fury or the enchanted sword. For range users, musket or mini shark, and for mage users, the ruby or diamond staff and or the vile thorn if you can get it. There are other items you can use which will be linked down below. So there you have it. You defeated one of many nightmares, and this one in particular, the Eye of Cthulhu. But there's more on the horizon. So I hope this helped you, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.